Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Reluctant Leader. So, I am your host, Gajinder Bogle, aka The Reluctant Leader. And today I'm joined by Harj Gahley, who I am so excited to get his story out to you guys because it is truly, truly inspiring. Now, before I carry on talking, Harj, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
So I'm Harj Gahley, and first of all, thank you for having me. I forgot to say thank you.
Welcome. You are so welcome.
I'm Harj Gahley. I'm a multi-award-winning international speaker and entrepreneur, and I'm going to get onto the story on how I came into entrepreneurship. So thank you for having this space.
You're so welcome. And I think, do you know what? This is one of the reasons why I wanted to create this channel is I'm really interested in why people became business owners because I never, ever in a million years dreamed I'd ever own a business. I thought I was going to be corporate till I die. And that didn't quite work out for me. And here I am.
I
So
wonder where that came
Harj,
from.
yeah. So Harj, let us know, did you ever dream of having your own business and how did your business journey start?
So, once again, growing up being a Sikh in the Indian household, what are we told? Go to school, get an education, go to university. If you're not doing any of the typical Indian degrees like pharmacy, dentistry, doctor, medicine, physics, you're a failure, right?
Yes.
So, really having an entrepreneurship business or entrepreneur journey really wasn't on my cards, and that's because of what I was taught. So, I really wasn't going to get into business. However, university taught me one thing, which was I was good at making money. So when I left
Ooh.
university, I actually started a business, which was called Club Gel, and it was almost imagine like MySpace if you're young enough and old enough to remember that, and a mix between
I
Facebook.
remember MySpace.
Oh God, do you remember? Okay, let's take you back. Do you remember High Five?
Oh my God. Yes, I do remember High Five. This just shows what generation we're from, right?
People might be watching this going, "What's High Five?"
We're 80s,
Yeah.
80s babies, right?
100%. so so that's what happened. I basically got Facebook and I got an element of MySpace and I created Club Gel. And within 2 years, I grew that to 165,000 subscribers, and which is not bad coming
Wow.
out of university.
That's not too shabby, right?
No, and I, I, had,
Absolutely.
I had no degree in marketing. I had a degree in law for my sins. So I learned how to become a marketer, start a business. When I say learn a business, I just winged everything. I had no mentor. I didn't know what to do,
The
but
best business owners do.
100% just take action. So yeah, that's what happened, and I grew that. And then what started off in a conversation to do advertising on that platform ended up being the journey of acquiring that platform. So that was when I was
Wow.
22, 23.
Oh my God.
So so not bad. But then life took a different turn where I lost all that money. So I did one thing that I was always good at, which was the corporate world. I worked for some huge companies. I worked with the royal families. I worked in the private jet industry.
Ooh.
And then it was only because of the pandemic and something that happened in the pandemic, which forced my hand into the world of entrepreneurship back again.
Okay, so we've missed out a lot of stuff here. So you've gone from the age of 22
Yeah, which
to the
is
year
2000.
2020.
Yeah, from 2007 to 2009 is when I set up that business after university.
Wow. And then so where did your entrepreneurial journey lead you? So after that, that business got sold
Yeah,
and then you just went into the corporate world.
yeah. So 2009, I sold that business. I lost all that money. So 2010, 11, I went back into the corporate world.
Do you
And
mind me asking how you lost the money?
um, gambling.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So I knew about you gambling and we were going to talk about it, but I didn't know it was that young.
yes.
I
So
didn't know it was that young.
my addiction to gambling started after the acquisition of that company, and it all happened because
Wow.
of one night out in Birmingham.
Was it Birmingham?
Birmingham.
Wow. Was it because you went to Birmingham or was it
I, I
something that happened?
I studied in Birmingham and I was living in Birmingham at the time for a bit. And one night, being this guy that just had nothing to do, I went out with friends. And the reason I actually went into the casino is because one of my friends said to me, "Well, let's carry on this party. Casinos give you drink, they give you food, you can get a sandwich in there." And that was my intention before going into the casino. But when I got in there, I actually experienced something that I've never experienced before. You know, a man walking down, I heard the lights, and I saw the lights, I had people sort of having fun, you know, having laughs. And a friend of mine was playing blackjack, and I saw him making money, and he said, Harj, why don't you just play with me? And what ended up, you know, starting with 20 quid, in about 30, 40 minutes, I turned that £20 into about £60. Now my business brain is going 20 to 60, that's quite a good return.
In
So
minutes?
why don't I treat this as a business, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And this lucky streak, quote unquote lucky streak, lasted much longer than your typical one. The typical one might last you a couple of hours, even a couple of minutes. This lasted for about 3 months. So
But you
my
just
bets
kept
were getting,
making money.
yeah, my bets were getting from, I was going in starting with say £20, then I go in and start with say £50, then it went up to £100. So as I kept progressing with the bets, because you know I kept winning. You know, there was never a time in those 3 months where I'd walk out not having money. I'd always walk out with a bit of profit. And I then was on Google and I was on YouTube watching these great gamblers and how they do things. So for me,
Wow.
this is like, I've got so much free time back then, right? So
Yeah.
why not just use that time to make money, right? I've got the money, let's put it in and make more money. And then after that 3 months, that's when the downward spiral happened, and the bets kept getting lost. I then started chasing the money, started chasing my tail, and before I knew it, you know, tens of thousands went down the drain.
Wow. And do you know what? I can sympathize a little bit because I would, if I wanted to make money, I would look at the easiest way to make money.
Yeah,
And 100% in those early days when you're on this winning streak, as a young person in their early 20s, you'd be like, oh my God, this is great. Why do people make making money so hard when it's so easy? And
right.
did that just reel you in?
Of course it is, because you know everything they do. There's obviously all the things that go on between the casinos. They give you, you know, your own private rooms because obviously now you're placing bigger bets. There's little things that they do. You have these cards, so they incentivize you.
Wow. They
Even
know
even
they've got you, don't they?
100, even now, let's look at what's happening with the cost of living crisis, inflation rates. You know, everything is going up apart from people's wages. And this is where the gambling operators, that they know that they can take advantage. So they're saying, join us, you know, you got free bets. You can, I've seen bingo adverts now saying, use this as a way to make an income stream. Like,
What?
I kid you not, this is what's happening. So what's happening is that these betting operators are preying on the vulnerability of people
Yeah.
that need to make more money because they
Quick
understand
buck. That want
that
that quick buck, right?
I want that quick buck, because they know, especially with this instant gratification culture that we live in,
Mm.
people want that quick win, and they know people want that quick win, so they just literally spend millions, if not billions, of pounds on advertising because they know people that they're vulnerable, and that's what happened to me. I was at my most vulnerable, and because I was in this perpetuating habit of chasing the money, going after the money, chasing the money, going after the money, that it just got to a point where things in my own personal life and
Mm.
even myself had a massive negative impact.
And Hodge, I can see how, just by what you're describing, this sounds like a business.
Yeah,
So I can see how in your head you were thinking, this is my business. This is what I'm doing. I'm going out to make money. I'm
yeah.
speculating to accumulate.
Well, look at there's this word out there, right? Professional gamblers that play
Wow.
poker, that use it as a way to make income. So I'm just following the methods.
Them.
I'm following the path of
Yeah.
what people are doing. If they can do it, why can't I not do it? That's what was happening in my brain at the time, and not realizing the damaging impact that it had on me. And the reason why it did have it on me, because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
that
what
was
was it that you didn't know?
chasing the money and the people that were affected. So the consequences of my actions were hurting people because I was so blinded by what was happening in my world that I didn't really care. I was almost like a Tasmanian devil for the people around me. As long as I was trying to go on this journey of trying to make money, what I would call in the wrong way of doing it,
Yeah.
I hurt so many people. I begged, I borrowed, I stole, I defrauded. I did everything that you could possibly think of to become super resourceful on trying to get money, even though I'm no, even to the point of when my wife found out, I was minus £250,000 in the hole.
What?
So think of it from this perspective. I met my wife on a flight back from New York, coming back from Vegas, by the way. So I stopped off in New York, met my wife on a flight back in 2012, hit it off. I found my companion, and we got married in 2014. We had our first child in 2017. And what happened is these suspicions around money, why are we not going out? Because as a man of the household, I was one that was paying the bills, looking after the money. So when everything wasn't being paid for, she had her suspicions, and her
Mm.
suspicions came
So she
true.
never knew about this. What did she think you were doing with your time and for money?
So when we talk about the addictions, I know this sort of even in business, there are two types of addictions. You've got the substance addictions and you've got the behavioral addictions. Now,
Okay.
substance are things like alcohol and drugs. So
Mm.
whenever you see someone on alcohol or drugs and they're addicted, you can see them inebriated, meaning they're either stumbling, falling over, their words are slurring. However,
There's
with
a
a behavioral
symptom.
addiction, yeah, you can easily tell when
See it.
someone's drunk or
Connect it.
someone is
Yes.
on drugs, right?
Yeah.
However, when you've got a behavioral addiction, this is why they call gambling the hidden gambling or the hidden addiction, is because it's more of an erratic emotional behavior, lashing out, swearing, becoming, irate. So what that meant was I could pass this off as being stressed at work, stressed in the relationship.
Mm.
Oh, things are not going right in my life, so I'm just having a lash out. So I think a lot of people can resonate with the sort of lashing out.
Yeah.
And then when they're happening all the time, and then the money's not backing it up, you've got to question yourself, right? And I think that's what's happening to my wife. She's like, your words are not matching your actions. So something is, I don't think with any person, there's that gut feeling, right? And
Yes.
sometimes you have to
Something's not
trust that
right.
intuition and gut. So I think with all that happening, she knew in herself, and I know for a while that she knew, or she knew, suspected something was wrong, but she took that courageous conversation to have with me. Um, and it was on the actual date was the 16th of June 2020, where I remember we're mid-pandemic. And I remember, do you remember 2020? We had such amazing weather that year. I mean, it was,
It was amazing, wasn't it?
I
So
mean,
cool.
I think we had the
You
hottest
can't
summer
go
that year.
anywhere, but you've got beautiful weather.
You're locked. Your freedom's taken away from you. You're going
But
to
here's
melt
some
in your own
sunshine.
house. If COVID isn't going to get you, the heat's going to get you. So I remember coming up and it was 8 o'clock in the morning. I heard my 2-year-old son, Jeevan, playing in his room. And I remember walking into the bedroom, remember the hot weather. And it was when I saw my wife sitting at the edge of the bed. Anyone that's seen my wife, beautiful woman, gorgeous, and she's very strong. And to see her like just absolutely breaking down and crying like I've never seen her before, it broke my heart. And what made it even worse, in that moment, my heart dropped to my stomach like that. And the reason it did that is because she was holding a phone in her hand and it was mine. See, up until this moment, I told so many lies
Mm.
that I've forgotten the lies that I told. Has she found this out? Has she done this? What she seen? What she come across? But the
Mm.
one thing that I didn't suspect that she did come across was the addiction. And then she turned the phone around and there it was in black and white.
Messages, messages upon messages.
The bank transactions, thousands, 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 thousands. I remember we went through, and one of my bank statements, we were scrolling through for about 3 minutes, just betting, betting, betting. I think we were just in those 3 minutes was about £25,000, just betting, 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 betting.
Wow.
I mean, that one instance, she was like, "How have you wasted £8,000 in just one day?" And that was me at work, sitting on the toilets. In less than half an hour, I wasted £8,000.
Wow.
And the thing that hurt us the most, and this is what I said to you before, the consequence of our actions was that I broke the fundamental trust of every relationship. Trust. So it got to a point which is like, look, I'm done with you. You've broken trust. You said you weren't going to hurt me. You promised the world. I can't trust you. And then I remember it was to the point of packing my bags and just saying, go, get out, get lost. Me being me, I just begged. I knew how to beg. I knew how to do all this sort of stuff because I've done it before with my addiction. But this was
Yeah.
begging.
Yeah.
begging for an opportunity, begging for a chance to make it right. And the reason I did this is because life teaches you some great lessons. And one of the lessons it taught me in that moment was, for such a long time, I was chasing the jackpot. Yet the jackpot was sitting in front of me, my wife and my child. And knowing that we just found out that we've got another child on the way.
Oh my God.
So all of these emotions bundled into this time, you know, led me even onto a darker path, because going onto this journey of entrepreneurship, what was happening around the pandemic? Businesses were closing.
Collapsing left, right, and center.
Yeah. Corporate
Literally falling
organizations.
like flies.
Yeah. Even what happened with corporate organizations and jobs? Dropped.
All going.
So the risk of losing a business and a job was almost the same, right?
Yeah.
So no one's hiring. I couldn't get a job.
You've got this debt.
A huge debt.
Huge debt.
And I made a promise to my wife, which is to give me another chance to make it up to you. And it was actually her father that said, help him, he needs help. So I've been given this lifeline. I have to do everything in my power to not only do good by my wife, but also do good by the people that now
Everyone
rely on me.
around you. Yeah.
So I knew one thing, which is what? I had to start a business, because I started the Club Gel, right?
Yep. Done
So
it
if
once.
anything,
And you did do it twice with your gambling, which you did see as a bit of a business.
perfect. I love the way you reframe that. But I've been given this opportunity because we've been pushed into a place where we've got confinement, right? We've got time on our hands. So I remember saying to my wife, pick the Dragon's Den, but just my wife. I had this idea, look.
Which is probably the worst dragon you can have. Not your wife in particular, but I think any wife listening to a husband's great idea, you're like, really, honey?
I think that could resonate with every woman.
Every woman.
But I said to my wife, look, I'm good at so I'm in this process. I was really good at marketing, because when I worked for corporate organizations, I was very good at SEO, e-coms, digital. So I knew e-coms and digital, and I knew software. So I said, why not just take what I know and sell that to organizations? So look, let's be honest. My wife knew that it was a bad idea. But what was the alternative? No one's hiring, right?
No. You just have to do what you got to do, right? In that time that you had.
So even my wife had to be forced into just going with the flow. And was it going with the flow, or was it life bringing you into alignment? Different question. Because I believe that, going on this path of recovery and entrepreneur and spirit, I realized that things happen for a reason. And this is what was happening for me at that very time. So before I was chasing money, now I'm chasing time for money, because I want to make this time back up with my family, right?
Yes.
So what did I do? Go onto Google, how to start and grow a successful business. YouTube, how to grow a business. What do I need to do to make 5,000, 10,000, a million a year? I did everything. Read books. I was emailing people.
Fast-tracked yourself.
I was doing it because I need to do. I was like trying to do everything I possibly could. Had my own experience. So everything that I possibly did, I was just doing without any luck. So the amount of calls, the amount of things I was doing. The problem here is I almost felt like it's going back into an addictive behavior again. Because
just
now
channeling in a different way, right?
Yeah, because now I've broken the trust. I'm trying to make time with my wife and my family. But what I'm doing, I'm focusing on the business. Everything was like, I've got to make it right. I've got to make it right. Do those emails, make those calls, send those messages, LinkedIn, everything. Go on YouTube. Any spare time was trying to consume myself on growing this business and negating my family.
You got a new addiction, which was to build a successful business. And Harj, can I just ask, how does somebody just stop gambling?
You have to identify the void in your life, because no one gambles because it's something nice to do.
It's a response to something else.
Yeah, so it could be a void. And usually these voids are because of past traumas and experience obstacles. For me, me being honest on this podcast, because this is something that I always am. I grew up in a household where my dad was an alcoholic. He would go to work and come home about 5:30, paralytic. My mum would work in Asda's for nights, so she would leave home about 4, 4:30. So we had a dad who was drunk, couldn't look after the kids, mum who was working nights. I've got three brothers, two older, one younger. We had these 7, 8, 9 year olds running around the house without any guidance or leadership. So what happens at that moment? You're not really given direction in life, or little things like self-love, self-care, self-nurture.
Yeah, just those little things that
Yeah.
shape who you are, isn't it?
So me being honest, you know, I lived my life becoming a people pleaser because I was trying to love for who?
Mm.
My mother's affection. And I didn't get that because she had to transfer it out to four boys. So then I became that person that was the life and soul of the party, trying to make everyone laugh, trying to be the jester. Ultimately, what am I doing? I'm trying to fill this void of happiness, fulfillment.
Yes.
And then the gambling really
Of
was
loving, of belonging, of
100%.
yeah, I really get that. And this is a non-judgmental zone, and I need to just thank you for being so open and honest. We haven't ended. We're
Yeah,
nowhere near ending, but I
yeah,
just really do want to thank you for being so open and honest. And I also want to thank your parents, because we probably know now that they could only do what they had, the tools they had available to them at that time. So there's no judgment in their
yeah,
parenting style or anything. It's just an awareness
yeah.
for ourselves in this present moment that this is what led to my gambling. And it's not a blame zone or anything. It's
Totally
just
agree.
with hindsight as an adult, this is what I can see. And, this is what I would advise my younger child now if I could go back to that phase.
Yeah.
But Hodge, how does somebody come back from a 250K debt in gambling during lockdown?
So even before that, we have to have a purpose and a reason for that being, right? So here's the reality of what happened. So even though I was chasing a business, my business was failing. I was actually losing even more money. So look at this journey. My wife found out I'm gambling. Yes, was there a huge sense of relief? 100%. The guilt kicked in. So as a result, I'm starting a business which is now failing. So I'm trying to make it up to my wife. I'm not holding true to my promise. I feel like a failure. I feel like everything I've done is wrong. I pinned my hopes onto a meeting in Nottingham. It was the 18th of August 2020. I remember rehearsing that pitch. I remember the day before. This is what I'm going to say. This is how I'm going to deliver it. This is the
Mm.
value I'm going to provide. Because I'm always told to give over value. Make sure that that client needs to understand how you can help them. Here's the problem. I over delivered and gave so much value is that I gave him the blueprint.
Everything you needed for free. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what happened at the end of the meeting. They said, Hodge, we love everything that you said, but that was me trying to claw everything back. And they said, we're going to go back to our existing clients, our existing company, share with them some of the things that you've done and see how they can make it better. So not only was it like a kick in the teeth, it was almost like now they're stamping on my
Now
grave.
it's a rub in the face. It's just
100%.
what?
But who's to blame? Them or me? I'm to blame because I gave everything on a platter.
Yeah. Just gave your power away like that.
Yeah. And now I've come out of that meeting, lost the biggest contract I could possibly think of. That was about £120,000 contract. Lost my way in life, lost the belonging of a dad and a father and a parent and a husband. Felt like an absolute failure. And that's when my path, and it was perpetuating before that, led me down an even darker path where I attempted the unthinkable on the way home that day.
You didn't.
Um, I'm going to use this as a trigger warning. So realize
Yep.
that if you
I've
need
just
help and support, reach out to Kajinder, myself, or anyone around
I
you.
am going to drop something in the comments as well. So if anyone does feel triggered, the support is right in the comments for
Yeah.
you.
So for me, I remember this. It was on the M1 near Leicester Services. I undid my buckle and my seatbelt, let my hand off the steering wheel. I was on the third lane, and I just pushed the steering wheel a bit to the right, and I put my car into central reserve. And honestly, in that moment, I didn't really care if I was dead or alive. Fortunately for me, I woke up.
Wow.
I had no broken bones. The car was mangled. I remember just absolute chaos and panic. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I remember the paramedic coming up on the scene. She looked at the car, looked at me, and said, "Listen, you are super lucky. If you don't believe in a higher power, anything above you, I think you should start believing in it." Because
Mm.
I've been in other situations like this, much less worse than this, and they haven't walked out of this. The fact that you've just walking out here with a few scratches, yeah. And it wasn't, I didn't understand that because I was, they say, right, when your emotions are high, your intelligence is low. And I didn't understand what she meant by that. And it was only 2 days after that where I realized my purpose. And it was something that my son, Jeevan, said to me, which is, "Dad, I'm the luckiest boy alive." And that taught me the word dependency. So I had to make a promise of necessity, not of hope, which is to never let myself down so I can never let my children down.
Yes.
So I realized if I'm going to make this work, I have to make this work. So I've got a £250,000 debt hanging over my head. I need to get rid of this. I've got trust to build. I need to build a better relationship for myself. I need to have time so I can spend and create memories for the children. So what did I do? I invested in a mentor. And the reason I invested in a mentor, and here's one thing I would say, this is my journey as well, is that
Mhm.
find a mentor that's doing the thing that you are doing or want to do, and that's still doing it and crushing the game.
100%. And, I think that's one of the decisions I made as well in 2021,
Yeah,
which just saw the game change.
yeah,
It literally saw the game change. And Harj, can I just say, I knew bits of this story,
yeah.
obviously, because, I've been stalking you and all of that kind of stuff.
In a nice way.
In the nicest possible way. Yeah, I don't think anything freaky. And I thought you had a business already while you were having the gambling debt. So, and as a wife myself, I just don't know what that would have felt like is going into the gambling stuff and then starting a business. So, how do you go? How did you? What did that take from you to go from the history that you had? Because this is very recent. We're only
Yeah,
talking the last few years. This isn't a 20-year journey, guys. This
yeah,
is like you've turned your life around in the last 2 to 3 years.
yeah.
How does somebody do that?
So here's one thing that I had to do. The first and foremost is vulnerability is always seen as strength, is always seen as weakness, but it's actually a
Yes.
strength. And one thing I learned was ask professionals. So here's the first thing I did: got professional help for my therapy, for my CBT, for my addictions. So that was the first part. Getting help in therapy allowed me to start identifying things about myself,
Yeah.
behaviors about myself. And here's the great thing. This is one thing my therapist said to me. She said, "I don't think you understand that people with addictions have one of the most biggest traits that every single human being would love to have." I was like, "What are you
What's that?
talking about?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Resourcefulness." So she's check this out. She goes, "Think about it. When you had no money,
Yeah.
you found the resources, or you became the most resourceful to find that money. Whether you begged, borrowed, stealed, did anything, you would do
You still,
everything for
yeah, you
money.
still found it,
You became so what happens is we become super resourceful.
which is the essence of business, right?
100%. This is why come back. This is why when the YouTube, Google, the books didn't work, because look, let's be honest, there is information of that out there. In fact, there is so much
So
information
much.
out
It's
there.
too much.
There is, I mean, an overload. So people have got information, but guess what people are missing?
They don't know what to do with it.
Wisdom.
Mm.
So people are now seeking wisdom more than information. That's something that you get from mentors.
Yeah.
So on this journey, I said, you know what? I don't care what this costs me because I've got a bigger purpose. I've got a bigger pain. They say, right? Change only happens when the change of staying the same is more painful than the
Painful.
change of
Yeah.
changing. So that was me. I was like, I don't care what this takes. I'm going to become super resourceful. Whether I need to get £500, £1,000, tens of £1,000s, I've got the resourcefulness. Remember,
Yeah.
my therapist said it to me, so I'll become super resourceful, right?
And did you believe that it was going to happen for you?
Yes and no, right? Because I knew that I wanted to go and create this life. So I went on this 4-day business school, right? On the third day, check this out. It surpassed my actions and my goals. One day, first day was like, what do you want to do in terms of a financial goal in the next 12 months? What did I say? 6-figure business, £100,000, right? Third day, my mentor pushed me. He goes, right, what clients are you working with? What's in the books? What are you working on? So there was some context around this. And through some guidance, they showed me what to do. I closed a £500,000 contract on day 3 of a 4-day course.
Wow.
So check this. They say, if you want to create a new belief, create a new experience. That experience
I love
told
that.
me, why am I only striving for 100K when I create
100K, yes,
500,000 in 3
yes,
days? So what
yes.
did I do? I said, I'm going for a million. And guess what? Within 1 year, the company went from basically 500 to 1.2 mil in revenues.
Wow.
So in 1 year that happened. Why? Because now I had unshakable belief.
Yes,
And
that you
more
can do it.
importantly, I remember that promise I made, the necessity to my children, to never let myself down. So whenever I do this, I always ask myself, whenever I'm facing an obstacle in life or in business, what's the opportunity that obstacle is creating?
Yes. Because it
And
is, times of adversity
yeah,
is your chance to grow. It's your
100%.
chance to be even bigger and better than the version of you during that adversity.
Yeah,
And, this was your chance to do something about it. And you really stepped up to that, which is just really amazing. And this conversation's been really deep. Like it's been giving me all the feels. It's hit me in so many different directions, so many different places. I've been trying to compose myself on camera, but I think honestly, the underlying message around here has been that no matter what you go through, I don't think you can get deeper than a 250K debt
yeah,
before you've even started doing anything, before you've even started to make money.
yeah,
And Hodge, what does life look like now for you? So now you're doing business the proper way.
yep,
You're building business with integrity,
yes.
which is really amazing. And I've really loved watching your journey as well more recently. How does life feel now?
Do you know what? It feels just amazing because I'm in a position now where I'm creating memories.
Mm,
And that for me will happen recently more so. So look, I was able to say to myself, well, look, when you've danced on death's doorstep, why
yes.
do you have to stop on one business? What other things am I phenomenal at? What other things are these things teaching me? One thing I just did was go back to existing clients and said, what's that you're working on? What can I help you with? What is it that you believe I can add
Mm,
value on? Because I don't think you understand what my background is. Do you know what? Conversations cost nothing, yet that they can create a transformation in your life, right?
100%.
So I just asked my client, what is that you're working on? They said, oh, by the way,
Mm.
we're looking to build this system. Do you know anyone? Well, guess what? I understand software, right? So I built a health and safety business. So I built a security business. Then I built a health and safety business. I thought, well, hold on. I understand software. So why not go out and build software?
Business software.
Because guess what I did? I white labeled the software I built for this health and safety company,
Mm.
and I approached other mining companies to then go out to them and say, I built this for them. I want you to run a trial period. What do you think? And here's what I did. This is where we get super resourceful. I held a mastermind of all the top health and safety experts, asking for their feedback and their knowledge in what the life is going to look like in the next 5 years in that industry
For free.
for free. But guess what I did? It wasn't for free. It was me sharing them. Hold on. Well, I have a software that can meet your goals, that can meet what you're looking to do. Now, what have I done? I brought the top heads into a room. I'm asking
Presented to them,
them.
pitched to them.
Well, think of it. It's the law of reciprocity. What's happening in this industry in the next 5 years? What do you think are the pitfalls around technology? Oh, by the way, I've got this piece of technology that can help you assist that. Let's have a conversation. Off
Yeah.
the back of that, I made 900,000 in sales.
Wow. And
So
this is just in the last few years. This is since lockdown, since that first meeting in Nottingham
since
that didn't go too
2021,
well. Look at that. That
July
is
July 2021 is when my real entrepreneurship journey started.
yeah. And do you know what? I do want to touch on that because I was thinking exactly the same. A business owner is someone who owns a business. True entrepreneurship is having these multiple income streams and not just stopping at that one business and knowing that you can actually do multiple things.
Yeah,
So you didn't just start one business.
no, no,
What is that
why
one
not?
when I can just copy and paste and start a few?
Yeah, yeah. So I've got 5 businesses now. Like I said, the security, the health and safety, the software business, and the two that I really am super proud of is the charity, which is called Red Card, and that's all around awareness and prevention of gambling harms for 11 to 24-year-olds. Because
Wow.
Public Health England said that there's approximately, I believe, a conservative figure, 100,000 11 to 24-year-olds, no, 11 to 16-year-olds that are classed as problem gamblers. I don't know about you, but 100,000 even itself is a lot.
That is a lot. And you know, my son's 9.
Yeah,
So that 11-year-old number, that digit, that hits
yeah,
home
yeah,
because that's my son in 2 years' time,
yeah.
which is
You've got
really,
to,
really scary.
you've got to look at the links between the gaming and how that perpetuates into
Yes.
gambling. So
Yes.
that's that. And then the one thing that I'm almost loving I really love at the moment is if I look at what has allowed the greatest growth in the business, technically, I'm not 10 out of 10 in these businesses because I know that there are other
Mm.
people that are 10 out of 10 in security and health and safety.
Yes.
I even said it to you, I've got the top experts in the room. So
Yes.
technically, they are much better than I am. One thing that I was always good at and what I've always been great at is the ability to understand and communicate effectively a better outcome.
Yeah.
So my communication was much better than theirs. And the ability to understand people's problems, but almost have those doctors that I'm prescribing them a solution, a way, a methodology. So understanding that public speaking and communication can elevate your professional career, your businesses, your life, relationships, health, finances. That's what's been the rooted transformation in
That's
me.
what's made you such a success, isn't it?
100%.
And so this is now what you're helping people with, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
with your Speak with Impact business.
yes. So the public speaking school is Speak with Impact,
Okay.
and that's really understanding how to um, deliver winning presentations, no matter who your
Mm.
audience, whatever your stage. Because we've never been taught, right? Every time we've gone into a meeting, whether it's a business or career, oh, there's a hint of here, you know your stuff. Here's a bit of courage. Here's a lot of winging it and hoping that you win those meetings. And that's like business. What if you knew a foolproof methodology, a proven strategy on how to do 1, 2, 3, 4,
Mm.
5 steps to achieve the outcome that you want? And that's what's been the greatest transformation, not just for my business, but the people that I've been working with. And I
Yeah.
know you're on a similar journey. I know people that work with you have seen massive transformations because they say implementing and taking action is much better than thinking.
100%. The what and the how.
The what and the how.
Incredible. Honestly, do you know what? I'm so inspired. And obviously, like I said, I know your journey, but I'm still so inspired about this conversation.
Yeah,
And I guess I'm hoping a lot of people out there, even if they're at rock bottom, even if they think their world is ending, you are proof that you can turn any scenario and situation around.
yeah.
Just get the support.
Do you know what it is on that agenda, right? It's people have built this story up that
Mm,
pigeonhole them into this problem that they're always perceiving,
yes.
right? So this story has now become absolute BS because why is it that other people around you are excelling in that very thing?
Mm,
So what you have to do is change the narrative of that story to a better outcome. And people say, how is that possible? Well, guess what? In this life, we have a powerful thing called choice,
Free will.
free will.
Free will. You get
You
to
have,
choose.
you have to stop. You have to stop this belief of what other people may think of you. What would happen if this doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, what's the chances are that it can work?
Yeah.
We just choose to stay on the negative side of things.
Yeah. We
Why?
just choose.
Because the circle of influence, our network, the people that we hang around with, society always pushes us down. You have to remove yourself from that environment and put yourselves in positions like with yourself, Kajinder. I know with the people that you
Mm,
help, you put them into a different community, into a different place, which stretches their line of thinking so that they start seeing a different pattern and start believing that, damn, this is near achievable.
100%. And can I just say as well, it's easier to stay where you are.
100%.
And it is harder to make the choice of changing your narrative. So I know we might look at you and think it's really easy, but it's not. It's been a really hard journey, but
Yeah.
you still get to choose. You still get to choose what you wish to do, what you want that outcome to be.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the things you do actually support people with, and one thing I've seen from you is you're so open about your story. You're so open about your vulnerability and your poor wife. I am going to get onto her in a minute because
Yeah.
I really want to give her a bit of airtime.
Yeah.
You know, you've been really vulnerable and you've been open and you've been really honest, but you've used that to your advantage. Some people hide away from the stuff that happens to them because of shame or, whatever else. But you've really showed people how you can turn your vulnerability in a really powerful, powerful story.
Yeah. And the reason I do that is two things. Is by sharing my story, it's going to do two things. Do you remember Moses and the Red Sea? What happened? It parted ways, didn't it?
Mm,
Problem is that we are trying to win everyone's ear.
yeah.
And the problem by doing that is you're never going to serve the people that you need to be serving.
Yes.
So by telling my story in its authenticity, in its rawness, in its transparency, if people can't align with it, that's good. I don't want you to align with it. Maybe down the line you might align with it, but the people that need my help, it's almost like this is how you attract. This is something that I learned in marketing as well. It's by telling your story, it allows you to push the people out of the way that you don't want to serve and
Yeah.
that you shouldn't be serving, and you should start attracting the people that you want to be able to serve and help.
You
So by
actually become
doing
a
that,
vibrational match, don't you? You become a vibrational match for the people that you want to attract in your world. And it makes marketing and doing business so much easier because you're almost like that magnet
yeah,
to all
we
those
talk
people
about the
that you want.
vibe, right? Your vibe is now creating a tribe.
Exactly that. Exactly that. So, Harj, I don't know if you know, I'm a super old romantic at heart. Like, I really am. And when I found out that you met your wife on a plane on the way back from New York in 2012, which was the year I got married in, I was like, oh my God, this is romance novel written all over it.
Love is
So,
in the air, literally.
yes, literally, love is in the air. Love was in the air. So, can you explain to us? Like, I'm a wife myself,
Yeah,
and all through this conversation, I was like, oh my God, your wife is so strong. And she's got far better qualities than I have because I don't think I could have done half the stuff that she was doing. How has she been in this entire journey? Because she's experienced the highs and the lows, and then hopefully coming up to the highs again now. How has that been for you guys?
you get me a bit teary there, a bit emotional.
Sorry.
um, she's been my biggest rock, if I'm honest with you, and it takes strength to work on a marriage.
Mm,
At one point, she was about to walk. Remember, she packed the bags, but through this journey, she became selfish, and I almost think that it comes down to her nurture and her being. She's almost said to me like, "Well, I can be strong for you if you are willing to be strong for yourself." And on the back of it, I think she carried a lot of burden that I don't know because she's kept that to herself. And I think that's because she wants to stay strong for herself.
mhm.
But also, that's a fuel that kept driving me because I know that there were times when the money wasn't coming in that I'm looking at her and she's questioning everything I'm doing. But
Yeah.
also, she became my accountability partner. She became, even right now, she's like, watch yourself with that person. I'll tell you one thing that she's fantastic at. She's very good at reading people's
Reading
energy.
people, yeah.
I
It's a
mean,
wife thing. We've got this antenna.
yeah, 100%. When someone comes in, so, and guess what? Every single, and I'm being honest here, every single person, because I wear my heart on a sleeve now, right?
Yeah.
Every single person, she goes, right, I'd be careful of this person, watch out for this person. I
Yes.
think this person
I
that.
do that with my husband too.
And every single person that she's made these presuppositions on have come true. And then she says to me, why do you wear your heart on your sleeve? I said, because you'll see someone's true colors eventually.
Mm.
She is, I think what's happened is become so protective of our energy. And I think that's because she's protective of what I did to myself and also the life that we've now created. I don't think she wants anyone to step into that. Even personal people, close people in our family, we've just cut off because they don't serve our journey. They serve a
Yes.
negative experience.
Yeah.
But the great thing in this journey is that as a relationship, as a couple, we make an absolute clarity and crucial time to work with each other. And that could be simple as just being there, understanding, being heard. So for my wife, she works, doesn't have to, but she loves it because I don't want to stop her career. She's fantastic at what she does. And sometimes she'll come back. I know that I've had loads of people going at me in that day, but I have to park everything I've done and just listen to her. And that in itself, one, the lies in our relationship have absolutely stopped. Because one thing I've realized that there's little or anything to lie about. And the great thing is that if you never lie, you never remember what you had to say.
If you never lie, yes, yes. And you're more open, right? Because
There
you
you are.
just never ever thinking whatever. And do you know one of the things I really believe in, Hodge? I really believe if you want to know the true success of
Yeah.
someone's business, ask their family.
Hmm.
Ask their family. And I'm a big one on that. So my kids are very much involved in my business. They're the ones that will be in the office restocking everything. They even, if I have clients come in, they'll even be serving them teas and coffees and, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, do you know what? If I ever had to exclude them from my business or my life or whatever, that wouldn't be a true mark of
Yeah.
success for me.
Yeah.
Do you feel that now? Do you feel that your business success is reflected in your family dynamic as it is now?
100%. I love this question. I
I
love the
love
way
a
you said
happy
it.
ever after. Not that we're finished yet,
Yeah,
but
but honestly, like, so on a personal relationship, as a family, we just get not. I'm not gonna lie. I don't work a lot now, and that's
yeah.
because I've chosen because I've got I employ almost 180 something people across the UK and in
Wow.
America and India, so I've been able to build this life up so I can live my life. If that makes sense. So
Yeah.
recently, we went on holiday to Turkey and I had this whole idea. I'm gonna go there, create content, record videos. I remember got there first day and the purity in just watching your two children building sandcastles. That one for me, I was like,
That
the
is
phone went
success,
off.
right? That's success.
Phone went off. That is
Yeah.
spend that time building stuff and just having
Mm.
these beautiful moments with your family and with your wife and just enjoying the laughs and this. And it's great because it's really weird. Like all the other children can see this beautiful energy and they all start coming around you. They start
Yes.
swarming in because they want to see what's happening here. And not only that, in my professional life, in my businesses, just like you, they come to my events. They're on stage with me. My wife
Love
comes, she
it.
supports even little things of like creating the lanyards or coming on site with me. They all know their names like firsthand. And and like even when we drive past certain hotels, they're like, oh, that's daddy's work. Oh, that's daddy's work. It's beautiful to know that this is what daddy does, but also this is what mummy does.
Mm.
And also as a combined unit, that we're just here for one another.
It's
For
so
me,
true.
for me, it's just that.
And I can see your face light up. When you talk about that, your face just lights up. Not that it doesn't with the rest of the business and stuff,
Yeah.
but this is what true success means
Get up now.
when
Woman.
when you're able to just ask your family how they feel about it. Now, Harj, I know we're on the end. We could probably talk for hours and hours and hours, and we'll probably have to do a second episode at some point in the future. Last question. What does the world of Harj Gahley look like in the future? You've achieved so much in such a short period of time. What does world domination look like for you now?
So for me, it's my businesses and my career that pays me. I can still improve on my career, which means going out, creating and transforming lives. But my true calling in life is my voice and my purpose, which is turning people's misfortunes into messages and leaving that with a positive impact that creates a ripple effect in lives. So for me, when you've been on this journey, my life has not only helped other people on this journey, I want you to go out and help other people on their journey. So for me, getting people to have courage to speak up and share what that they've been through, that for me is my true calling in life.
Wow. I love that. I love that. And I really can't wait to see it in action more in 2024, and also to be part of that journey as well, because I know we've had certain conversations as well. So guys, watch this space because there's
100%.
lots and lots of exciting stuff happening. And Harj, I am so grateful, so grateful for you coming on and being so open and honest with your journey, because it's just going to help so many people out there. I am going to drop some support services down in the comments box as well. So if anyone is triggered by anything they heard today, or they just want some more support, they can get it from here. And also, Harj, if anybody did want to connect with you and contact you, what is the best way for them to do that?
So all you have to do is, if you're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, I know MySpace,
Love it.
just search for Harj Gahley, connect with me, but also reach out to Gurj, reach out to Kajinder. She's got my details.
Yes.
But also, if you're connecting with Kajinder, and I want to pay homage to you as well, because for you, it took courage to create the Reluctant Leader. It took you to step out your comfort zone and to be the person that you are today. And I know we're in alignment with so many different things, but it took you to step out your comfort zone to create change that not only changed your life, but is on the journey on creating transformation and change for people's lives as well. So I want to thank you for being on that journey too.
Thank you. Honestly, thank you. And I think it's people like us that can just show people what is possible, that there's endless possibilities out there and they're all available to you. And people like myself and you, Harj, we're just guides in this life, right? To just guide you along that right path. That's it. There's nothing more special about us. We're just average parents. We still are personal assistants to our children. So at the end of each day,
brilliant. I've never had that
by
one.
day we are CEOs, but by night we are personal assistants. Just literally, our kids click their fingers and we have to run around after them. So we are very normal people.
Love that. You tell my wife that one.
We are honestly just normal people, just slightly ahead.
Yeah.
Just a few steps ahead of some of you guys in your journey. So do reach out to either one of us. So thank you so much, Harj. Thank you for everybody who watched this episode. Absolutely appreciate you guys. And if your wife ever allows it, Harj, I would absolutely love to get her on this show, because I really do believe a leader isn't just someone who owns a business. A leader is somebody who can lead, who can foresee whatever they need to foresee and still be able to stand up at the front and lead, whether that's in an entrepreneurship way or in any other way as a support person as well.
There's someone that told me a great quote on this sort of leadership. A true leader is someone that can pull from the front, yet also push from the back.
Wow. And that's your wife, right?
100%. And my children.
A real success. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Harj. I really appreciate you. And thank you to everybody who's watched this episode. And I'll see you again next time.